From the shining domicile that is Pittsburgh Comics, my old mannered comic shop owner, Colin McMahon, transforms into the world's greatest comic book talking TV host. Join us true believers for Comics Now!
Hey everybody, welcome to Comics Now for September 2023. Now, we're approaching my favorite time of the year. My birthday's in October, but fall has always been my favorite time. And I opened the Tuesday after Labor Day in 2026, or 2006. So we are now hitting my 17th year of doing this. So yeah, fall always has a real special time for me. Football, all that fun stuff. So I'm excited. We're finally here. We're past the heat of summer that I'm not a huge fan of. So as we approach my favorite time, we're going to be doing stuff at the store. We have a big sale coming up. We also are doing book club. And for book club, I decided we had a stinker last time. And so I said, let me pick one of my favorite books. So we are going to do Daredevil Born Again. This is Frank Miller and Dave Mazzucchelli. Frank Miller came back to the book to write this story, just a wonderful story. And apparently they are going to be adapting this for the next season of the TV show. So I thought it was timely if the TV show ever comes with all the writer's strike. But, so this is coming up on Friday, September 29th. So if you're interested, please pick up a copy and come join us. September has a lot of great stuff going on, but the big thing for me is DC is back. The regular titles are all returning, so let's jump into DC and see what they have going on. Starting off, Saturday, September 16th is Batman Day. This is a day DC promotes as Batman Day. We're going to have some freebies to give away. They have a couple different books. They have some masks. And they have, the neat thing, this year they have a couple new versions of books. There's a special hardcover of Batman 89 series and a special foil cover of Batman 608, which was the Jim Lee, the beginning of Hush. So that's coming up on the, Saturday the 16th is Batman Day. Now, speaking of Batman, we have Batman Catwoman, the Gotham War Battle Lines. We're starting a big Batman Catwoman war. Chip Zdarsky and Tini Howard are doing it. Art by Mike Awthorne and Adriano Di Benedetto. Crime is down in Gotham City. Is that a bad thing? A coordinated effort in Gotham has led to a reduction in violent crime, but at what cost? Villains scatter as their lives begin to crumble under a new regime. And as Batman recovers from his epic battle through the multiverse and the horrors of Night Terrors, one name runs through his mind. One name at the heart of this new, safer Gotham: Catwoman. A conflict that's been brewing for well over a year finally hits the streets, and it will fracture the Bat family as war erupts. We also have a one-shot with Red Hood tying into Gotham War. This is written by Matt Rosenberg. The Gotham War has fractured the Bat family in dramatic ways, none more intensely than with Jason Todd. This stunning event will forever alter the destiny of the man who wears the Red Hood. It's going through Batman 137 and Catwoman 57. Another Batman book. There's a lot of Batman books coming out this month. We have Batman and Robin. This is Josh Williamson and Simone DeMeo. Father and son, Bruce and Damian, Batman and Robin. From Batman vs. Robin to Night Terrors, a lot has happened to the dynamic duo. But now they are back together and ready to fight crime in Gotham, just in time for Batman's most monstrous rogues to team up to turn the city into an urban jungle. A new villain watches from the shadows, intent on revenge, with a plot to turn one of Batman's greatest assets against him. Can Damian help his father solve the case before it's too late? We also have a new Birds of Prey book coming. This is written by Kelly Thompson, art by Leonardo Romero. Every mission matters, every life saved is a miracle, but this time it's personal. Dinah Lance is one of the DCU's most elite fighters, and combined with her sonic scream, she's a fearsome foe in any scenario. But sometimes even the Black Canary needs help. Faced with a personal mission brought to her by a mysterious new ally, and up against near impossible odds, she reforms the Birds of Prey with an unrivaled group of ladies: Cassandra Cain, Big Barda, Zealot, and Harley Quinn. And only one goal: extraction without bloodshed. What could possibly go wrong? We also have a new Wonder Woman coming. This is written by Tom King with art by Daniel Sampere. After a mysterious Amazonian is accused of mass murder, Congress passes the Amazon Safety Act. barring all Amazons from U.S. soil. To carry out their plans, the government starts a task force, the Amazon Extradition Entity, to remove those who don't comply by any means necessary. Now, in her search for the truth behind the killing, Wonder Woman finds herself an outlaw in the world she once swore to protect. We're also getting a new Flash series. This is written by Cy Spurrier and drawn by Mike Deodato. Wally West has never been quicker, more fulfilled, more heroic. His loving family is around him, and yet something is off, very off. The evolving understanding of his powers has opened Wally to new avenues of sci-fi adventure and attuned his senses to strange new ideas. Something whispers from the dark vibrations beyond the Speed Force. And as Wally experiments with creative new approaches to his powers, he encounters a new realm, mysterious allies, and a mind-shattering terrors. We have a new Power Girl series. This is written by Leah Williams with art by Eduardo Pancia. Pretty, punchy, and powerful. After the events of Night Terrors, a long-dormant Kryptonian threat has returned to take down Superman and his family. Who could possibly stop it? Well, according to the Man of Steel, it's Power Girl. Witness a road trip race against time as Paige reconnects with her roots to save the world from her deadly past. We also have Fire and Ice, Welcome to Smallville. Things could not possibly be worse for Fire and Ice. Superman sent the former Justice Leaguers packing for Smallville following an extremely public and utterly disastrous mission, and in doing so doomed them to a fate worse than death, irrelevance. Ice finds herself drawn to the quiet life and dreams of planting roots, but Fire, well, Fire will do just about anything to get the heck out of Dodge and back to the hero circuit, including challenging the DCU's biggest villains to a knockdown, drag-out, live-streamed brawl in the streets of Smallville. We also have a new Blue Beetle #1. There's a new movie out. Jaime Reyes' graduation is over, but his new life in Palmera City as the Blue Beetle has only just begun. With 2 new Beetles to train in Dynasties and Natita, Jaime has his hands full navigating being a leader. Thankfully, he has Paco and Brenda by his side as they settle in at Palmera State University. But what lives in the shadows of Blue Beetle's new home, and what does it mean for the Blue Beetle legacy? We also have a new Green Lantern book, Green Lantern War Journal. This is written by Philip Kennedy Johnson. John Stewart's time as a Green Lantern has come to an end, or so he thinks. A family tragedy calls him back home, and as John begins to reclaim the career he once left behind, he tries to embrace a peaceful post-superhero life. But when a terrifying and contagious force with a mysterious connection to Oa appears on Earth, the last Green Lantern of another universe comes seeking the only warrior to face his threat and win, the immortal guardian and builder John Stewart himself. Can this brilliant but brash young Lantern help John discover the qualities that made him one of the greatest Lanterns in the entire multiverse? We also have a DC Ghouls Just Want to Have Halloween special. And then from Black Label, we have Batman Gargoyle of Gotham. This is by Raphael Grandpa. He's writing and drawing this. In a Gotham City where every day feels darker and more irredeemable than the last, Batman makes a definitive choice to kill off the Bruce Wayne identity for good and embrace the cowl full-time. But though he knows the streets of Gotham, Batman will soon come to find that he hardly knows himself. A serial killer is on the loose, and while the murder victims seem random at first, every clue draws Batman closer to the horrifying truth that they are all connected, not just to each other, but to him. When an all-new rogues gallery of utterly depraved villains begins to emerge from the depths of the city, Batman will have to contend with the very nature of evil, including that which lurks inside the darkest corners of his own heart, to face what's coming for his city. Now we have facsimile editions. So there's Batman #1. We have Detective Comics 58, which is the first appearance of the Penguin. Flash 105. And Wonder Woman #1 from the 1987 run with George Perez. So that's what we have from DC. Now on to Marvel Comics. Coming in September from Marvel Comics, we're starting off with Captain America #1. We have J. Michael Straczynski and Jesus Saez are starting Captain America over. New #1, just one Captain America right now, I think. What future awaits the man out of time? Decades ago, Steve Rogers changed the world forever. Now powerful and insidious forces are assembling to ensure he never does it again. Past, present, and future collide as the man out of time reckons with an existential threat determined to set the world on a darker path at any cost. We also have Predator versus Wolverine. This is Benjamin Percy and Greg Land. The thrill is the kill. The bloodthirsty saga you've been waiting for. Wolverine has lived one of the longest and most storied lives in Marvel Comics history. Now witness the untold greatest battles of Logan's life against a Predator. It seeks the greatest prey in existence and finds it in Weapon X. We also have a new Avengers book, Avengers Inc., by Al Ewing and Leonard Kirk. We have action, mystery, adventure. Her name is Janet Van Dyne. She's a hero. She's a celebrity. She's hunting a killer. His name is Victor Shade. He's a villain. He's an enigma. He just got killed. And together they're going to solve every mystery in the Marvel Universe, starting with their own. We also have a new Daredevil #1. The new era of Daredevil starts here. Saladin Ahmed and Aaron Cooter have laced up and entered the ring, ready to take Matt Murdock on a knockout of an adventure. Where does Elektra fit into all of this? What is the future of Hell's Kitchen? Romance, intrigue, action. We also have the spine-tingling Spider-Man Zero by Saladin Ahmed and Juan Ferreira. The most terrifying Spider-Man story ever. Spider Slayers and a Smythe. The song that once heard will not allow you to sleep. One of the worst threats to Aunt May you've ever experienced. We also have a new Uncanny Spider-Man #1 by Cy Spurrier and Lee Garbett. The night-crawling wall crawler. On the darkest of days, he is the spark in the shadows. After the devastating events of the Hellfire Gala, Kurt Wagner is on the run and having the time of his life. Swashbuckling about New York City in disguise, the uncanny wall crawler sets aside his mutant angst and dedicates himself to the hero's life, saving civilians, hanging with fellow wall crawlers, battling baddies, and hunting down the best pizza on the planet. But he can't ignore the mutant plight forever. It's a joyful, sexy series that will shake Nightcrawler to his foundations and have a hell of a good time doing it. We also have Uncanny X-Men 26 and Iron Man #10, which is the wedding of Tony Stark and Emma Frost. The moment we swore would never happen is here at last, as the Frost-Stark knot is tied, and in Invincible Iron Man 10, Emma's mutant family reacts to this surprise news. And in Iron Man 10, you are cordially invited to the wedding of Anthony Edward Stark and Emma Grace Frost. Come join the lucky couple as they exchange vows. Attire is Hellfire formal. Orcus raid to follow, plus some exclusive wedding extras. We also have the end of Ghost Rider Wolverine Weapons of Vengeance Omega, and a new Silver Surfer book, Rebirth Legacy. This is by Ron Mars and Ron Lim. The Sentinel of the Spaceways has taken the son of Captain Marvel, Genus, under his wing, but even the power cosmic can't replace the love of a father. The Surfer knows something that might just be able to soothe a broken heart, but is it worth a clash with the Infinity Watch? We also have a new Werewolf by Night one-shot. In the shadows of the black and white night, Jack Russell races to halt the sacrifice of a young girl at the hands of monsters. Elsa Bloodstone, in all her colorful monster hunting glory, isn't far behind. A couple facsimile editions from Marvel are Micronauts #1 and Rom #1. Contest to Chaos continues in Spider-Gwen Annual, the Venom Annual, X-Men Annual, and wraps up in the Avengers Annual. When Agatha pits the Avengers against the winners of the previous Chaos battles, they realize they must choose between saving their friends and stopping the creation of the new Darkhold. But their choice may have consequences that no one, not even Agatha, could have imagined. We also have Alligator Loki. This is one of their animated, their online shorts. Bow down to the reptile in a helm who has enraptured the 10 realms with his cuteness. First, Alligator Loki chomped down on Mjolnir, and then he chomped his way into our hearts. Now the beloved Alligator of Mischief finds and makes trouble all across the Marvel Universe in his very own comic. What If gives us another one. This one's Carnage. This is written by Larry Hama, drawn by John McCrae. Cletus Cassidy, the madman who bonded to Carnage, wasn't the only family member to have a connection with the symbiotes. We've got 2 new Star Wars books, too. We have Obi-Wan Kenobi. This is written by Jody Hauser and Salvador Larroca. When agents of the Empire pose a new threat, Obi-Wan Kenobi emerges after years of hiding. Taking place after Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan Kenobi is tasked with keeping both of the Skywalker children safe from a distance, until young Leia Organa finds herself held in a ransom plot. And then Star Wars Dark Droids gives us D-Squad. A terrible scourge is corrupting the galaxy's droids. To fight this menace, R2-D2 has assembled a team of droid heroes, the D-Squad. Now on to the rest, starting with Boom Studios. Now on to the rest of the guys, and here's Boom Studios. They have Coda #1. This was a series, won a bunch of awards before, and they're bringing it back for a new series. Also by Si Spurrier and Matthias Bergara. In this brand new adventure, the despondent bard Hum finds a slice of tranquility with his wife in an ever-darkening magicless apocalypse, or so it seems. Prophecies of paradise and the return of magic? Hum is skeptical while his wife Circa faces difficult moral decisions on the road, with winter quickly approaching. We also have Rare Flavors. This is a new one by the team who did The Many Deaths of Layla Starr, Ram V and Felipe Andrade. Discover the tantalizing tale of Ruben Baksh, a demonic Rakshasa, with down-to-earth dream of becoming the next Anthony Bourdain. To achieve his vision, Ruben enlists Mo, a filmmaker who has seen better days, to document the world-renowned cuisine of India and the people behind such glorious food. But little does Mo know that there's more to Ruben than meets the eye, and the mortals play a darker role in the show than they were prepared for. We also have one called The Hunt for Skinwalker by Zach Thompson. Unidentified flying objects, animal mutilation, terrifying otherworldly cryptids, countless strange phenomena. For more than 50 years, a remote ranch in the Oneida Basin has been the most significant nexus for the paranormal, based on the 2005 groundbreaking, electrifying nonfiction book revealing the captivating true story of the Gorman Ranch for the first time. We also have Stuff of Nightmares comes back, written by R.L. Stine, adapting his book. Comic creator Alex Okasha has been out of the spotlight for decades, and he'll wish he'd remained in obscurity soon enough. Firefly has a new series, written by Sam Humphries. On to Dynamite, we have a new one, Negaduck. This is written by Jeff Parker. He's the exact opposite of Darkwing Duck in every way. Evil, nefarious, dedicated to stealing lollipops from kids and not helping grandma across the street. And now he's ready to begin a reign of crime and terror, the likes of which St. Canard has never seen, except, dang it, all the other villains are ripping off his ideas. What's a criminal mastermind to do when the city's thick with other criminals stealing his shine? Why? Take his villainy on the road, of course. We also have a new Sheena, Queen of the Jungle series. Now, Image has a bunch of new ones. First one is Edenwood. This one is written and drawn by Tony S. Daniel. Edenwood, an eons-long series of multiverse wars between demons and witches, has found Earth as its latest and final battleground. The battle pits Necronema, the ever-expanding demonic land which supplanted the Midwest 20 years ago, against Edenwood, the witchcraft-controlled land that acts as a barrier against the war zone and the rest of us. In the first arc, readers are introduced to Ryan, a young man born during the apocalyptic events of southern Illinois, who is thrust into the role of hero and leader. Summoned by the Witch War Council, Ryan must assemble an elite team of demon hunters tasked with annihilating a list of targets within the demon-controlled lands. But Ryan has his sights set on a young and powerful witch being held prisoner deep within Necronema. The mission is one of search and destroy. However, Ryan feels he's been chosen for more than just a demon killer. We also have Hexagon Bridge. Explorers Jacob and Ellen Armlin find themselves trapped in a strange parallel dimension of elusive landscapes and shifting architecture inhabited by mischievous entities. Now it's up to their clairvoyant daughter Adley and sentient robot Staden to rescue them. We also have Junior Baker, the Righteous Faker, which is a sequel to 2011's Butcher Baker, Righteous Maker. Meet Daniel Dizzy Baker, a gonzo journalist chasing superhero stories in a world that's left superheroes behind. Stumbling onto the ultimate story, Baker embarks on a personal vision quest where its past and his future violently collide. We have Kill Your Darlings. 8-year-old Rose loves nothing more than to play pretend in a magical land of her own creation. To her, that world is as real as our own, from her fluffy friend to the terrible evil that lurks at the center of it all. In one night, the line between fantasy and reality will disappear. An ancient hunger will feed again, and Rose will be pulled into a gruesome saga that begins a century before her birth. Creepshow Volume 2 is back. The smash hit horror anthology based on the hit Shudder TV series is back and creepier than ever. We also have Jack Kirby's Star Warriors, The Adventures of Adam Star and the Solar Legion. This is Jack Kirby resurrected by Tom Scioli. It's Jack Kirby like you've never seen him before. Jack Kirby's first cosmic hero, the pirate hunter Adam Star, in this deluxe remix of Kirby's first space epic series. We also have a graphic novel, an original graphic novel, Cosmic Detective. This is written by Jeff Lemire and Matt Kint. An epic science fiction mystery that asks, when a god is murdered, who solves the crime? Enter our detective. The murder of a god threatens to tear apart the very fabric of our reality, and only he stands in the way of utter destruction. Will the mystery he uncovers be worse than the disaster he's trying to avert? And will his mind crack under the revelations he's about to uncover before he can do anything about it? New from Ablaze is one called Almost Dead. After having an accident on her way home to visit her family, Sarah Walker awakens to find that the world has changed. Now she must travel up the eastern seaboard using suppressed survival skills she learned as a child in hopes of reuniting with her loved ones, in the midst of a viral pandemic that has turned humans into monsters. Set in modern-day 2005, Sarah unites with old acquaintances and new friends along the way, and her struggle to survive will be both an unexpectedly exciting journey and an absolute horror. Opus gives us Frank Frazetta's Death Dealer 2099. Sword and sorcery meets cybernetics and supercomputers. Massive has one Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer. When slave owners can't stop the formidable ninja warrior Harriet Tubman, they call on the help of vampires, werewolves, witches, and demons to stop her. Harriet must lead a family of slaves to freedom while battling an army of darkness. Dark Horse has some new ones. We have From the World of Minor Threats, The Alternates by Patton Oswalt. Mary the Multi-Monster, The Tripper, Crab Louie, Kid Curious, Persona, formerly the offbeat B-list superheroes, the alternates who seemingly sacrificed themselves to stop an invasion from another dimension. Instead, they were transported to a mirror reality where they lived complex lives in a more four-dimensional existence, expanding both their powers and consciousness. 5 years later, they've returned to Twilight City, struggling to reacclimate to their old lives in a traditional two-dimensional superhero world. Withdrawal from the vivid ones they left behind. When elements from this alternate reality turn up as a dangerous new street drug, some of the heroes band together to destroy it, while others succumb to its temptation. We have a new Masters of the Universe book, The Forge of Destiny, a He-Man Year One prequel to the Netflix series. We have one called St. John. A cynical Manhattan writer travels to Portland to track down the enigmatic St. John, a masked man who roams the city doing good deeds for strangers, appearing at random and vanishing without a trace. Who is he? Why does he do it? And what is his seemingly supernatural connection to the City of Roses? Tori aims to put these questions to the man himself, unaware that the answers will change her life forever. We have Subgenre. This is by Matt Kint and Wilfredo Torres. A man is living two lives. He is a private detective in a dystopian cyberpunk future trying to solve a triple murder. But when he falls asleep, he wakes up as a wandering adventurer in a barbaric fantasy world where magic exists. Is he two separate people, or is he a third person that has undergone a psychotic split? He jumps back and forth from sword-wielding barbarian to jaded private eye trying to solve a brutal crime. But the bigger question is, can he merge these realities without losing himself? We have another one, Tear Us Apart. Deep in the Canadian wilderness, a vicious cult dedicated to an ideology of pain trains children to become deadly assassins. In the midst of the world of cruelty, two teenagers break the cardinal rule by falling in love. The only thing standing between them and happily ever after is an army of murderers with a taste for blood. IDW has some new ones. We have Kill More #1. The city of Colonia is suffering from total economic collapse, but worse than the unemployment and urban decay is the skyrocketing homicide rate. Most of the few cops left on the force think it's just another symptom of the city's decline, but one detective has a darker theory, that the most depraved killers in the country have all moved here to take advantage of the chaos. As he and his new partner dig deeper into their rapidly growing list of open cases, they'll find themselves in the crosshairs of a growing group of maniacs who realize that the best way to stay ahead of the cops in a city full of killers is to kill more. Nothing can prepare you for Lady Face Smasher, The Sufferer, The Obituary Machine, and worse. Lock your doors and journey into the mouth of madness. Star Trek is giving us a Halloween book called Holoween, with Halloween adventures in the holodeck. We also have an origin story of Picard, Star Trek Picard's Academy, featuring Captain Picard as a youth in the Academy. Ahoy Comics has some fun ones. The first one up is Serial. It's a trade paperback collecting all of Mark Russell's serial stories that he's done. What We Do in the Shadows meets Monster Squad in this dark, distinctly adult, and lovingly funny take on an earlier generation's beloved monsters. The Marquis du Coco, recently transformed into a vampire, braves the agony of sunrise to throw his famous breakfast parties, where he plays his deadly games with such oddly familiar characters as the Quaker, Bo Berry, and the Brute. We also have Project Cryptid. This is an anthology book. Part of it starts off with Grant Morrison, a new anthology featuring Bigfoot, Yetis, Nessies, Jersey Devils, and more. Ahoy presents a deep dive into all things cryptid, legendary, tall tale, and fanciful. Archie gives us Madam Satan, Hell on Earth. After Madam Satan waged war on Baxter High, hell descended upon Earth, and even she isn't safe. Madam Satan seeks refuge from the force of Lucifer in a random suburban home, and who she meets there is surprising. But is this powerful person a friend or a foe, and can the two of them work together to summon eldritch terrors and stop Satan's rampage? AWA has another Mark Russell book called Rumpus Room. Meet Bob Shrunk, technocrat billionaire, collector of bad art, and victim of a hideous skin condition that can only be treated with a highly illicit and definitely not FDA-approved face cream that must be harvested from human beings. Bob isn't unfair, though. He's happy to let the guests select who will be next to be banished from the Rumpus Room and sent to their doom. There's just one thing Bob doesn't know. One of the current guests is an undercover cop, and she's carrying a concealed gun. Mad Cave has a new one called Crusader. A Templar knight finds himself transported to a dangerous realm known as the Beastlands, with sinister entities known as the Masters hunting him down. All he has is his sword and a weird goblin-like creature named Grimble to guide him through this strange new world. Vault has one called Sainted Love. This is by Steve Orlando, set in New York City, 1907. Malcolm Arena is the greatest inventor the world's never heard of, and his lover, John Wolfe, is the toughest bare-knuckle boxer in the city. Arena's grandest invention, the Chrono Corridor, is nearly complete. He dreams of whisking himself and Wolfe away to a time when they can live and love freely. But when crazed detective Felt raids Arena's lab, the couple dive into a freshly powered up portal to escape capture. Another one called Lone. On the last day of summer, before 8th grade, Alma makes a disturbing discovery. The lake her town is named for has disappeared. Not dried up, vanished. What's more concerning is that no one else remembers it ever existed. With the help of her best friend Kel, Alma tries to get to the bottom of this mystery. But as more things start to disappear, Alma worries somehow she might be the cause. So that's all the new number ones that are coming out. Like I said, all the DC books are back, so we're getting Batman and Green Lantern and Justice Society and all that fun stuff. And Marvel is continuing on with all of their stuff. So we're doing Daredevil Born Again for Book Club on the 29th. And that's it. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, the website's PittsburghComics.com. Facebook is Pittsburgh Comics. Twitter and Instagram are PTH Comics. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for Comic Previews Theater. See ya.
Turn off your headlights.
What do you think? How about that one?
Biggest house in the neighborhood? Yeah.
The humans took away more than our home. They stole our right to even exist. I don't care if every last one of them dies.
Holy amazing!
Let's get the out of here. Wait, what is that?